Well, so let's do that conversation. We told you about how we now want to start this great conversation to get all of us thinking with a new campaign. And the Joy Clean Ghana campaign has ensured that since the last week we've been in the community near you, making sure that all of us are in this together. Just getting all the right issues, more so getting the Accra Metropolitan Assembly on board. And Nancy A.M.A will bring you her report in a moment about what she captured. But we also need to have the conversation going on many other related subjects. And that is why we have to start all this with bringing in those who matter, those who have worked conveniently in water and sanitation, and ensuring that behavioral change activities are ongoing to improve the situation of our own attitude towards waste management, or the way we tend to generate it and ultimately dispose it off. Well, we have Ben Arthur. Ben Arthur is a former CONIWAS president as a coalition of NGOs in water and sanitation. Is here, Mr. Arthur? Good morning to you.
Good morning, and thank you for
having me. We've started this new campaign we call the Joy Clean Ghana campaign. We started off in earnest, but you would say that's a good initiative, is not it?
Yes, it is. And let me commend your outfit for such an exercise. We need you on board, and not a one-day thing, a kind of a sustained effort for all of us to get to where we want to be.
In the first place, what will be your own general observations about what the objectives as a country we are in relation to water and sanitation, and how to ensure that we get those objectives right?
Basically, all of us are aspiring to have, as President would put it, a clean city, a clean environment where all of us, especially our children, will thrive. And if you have a healthy environment, your health budget technically reduces, because most of our diseases are sanitation and health, water related. So in as much as you are fighting to create a better environment for yourself and for your kids and the future generation, you're also indirectly affecting your health budget in terms of cost reduction, because that brings you to the preventive aspect of health, rather than going for the curative, where people will fall sick and now you have to go and pay for the medicines and other infrastructure to deal with. So the broader objective for all of us is to make sure, or is to ensure, all our environment are clean, especially where our kids play and engage themselves in. That is very important for all of us.
Now, with the actions of all that need to happen, is the important role to be played by the various MMDAs, the Metropolitan Municipal District Assemblies in the first place, because we're told that they form the fulcrum around which local governance needs to operate. What will be your own observations so far about what role they've been playing in ensuring that all of us adhere to the right practices, the bylaws, etc.?
Yes, the way it's their mandate to ensure development in broader sense in their areas of their jurisdiction, ensuring that their population live a healthy life, of which sanitation and water is a component. But as we see now, you go to most of the MMDAs, and issue of sanitation seems to overwhelm them. Not because they don't have the technical people to deal with the situation, but the logistics and other things that should go to support the technical team in doing their work is no more. It's not going as we want them, or we wanted to see. So you go and now the collection and other things have been outsourced to other private sector, Zoom Lion, Jakura, and all these entities who are there doing this work. And the assemblies pay for these services. But it's like supervising these entities to do what is in their contract is also becoming a challenge, or has become a challenge for the district. Districts, my understanding now is they sign the contract, with the private sector in managing the waste. Yet you go and you see the work on the ground, that the waste and other things that are supposed to be collected are still around. So for the district, they seem to be overwhelmed by the sanitation issues in the various environments because they are not being able to do the work as we expect them to do.
Ultimately, we all know that if waste is collected, it has to be sent to a dumping ground. Now, the world order is to move to recycle, and it's for good reason, because you can't keep what is supposed to be waste back into the environment. So you want to renew its usage in a way. So they talk about renewable waste resources, etc. As a country, if you look at the cycle, what role ideally should government be playing in that regard?
The government's role is very clear, because in terms of the technical capacity, the government may have the people to be able to do, but when it comes to the technical side, in terms of the managing, having the logistics and the capacity to be able to do that, that's where mostly the private sector comes in. So the role for the government is to create the space for the private sector to thrive. Do we have the right policies? Do we have the right laws? Do we have the right supervision authorities to monitor whatever is going on? Do we have the right authority to bring into books those who falter? So basically, then the bottom line is providing the required funding to those entities who are working, or ensuring that the entities have the support that they need to be able to deliver. Basically, that is the role of our government, ensuring that everything is done according to the way it has to be done. So it might be out of order for the government as a central government taking the pickers and all those things to go to the ground to actually do this work. Might not be possible, but the government have to create space for somebody, for an entity to be able to do some of these things. It means the right policies has to be there, the legal framework has to be correct for the private sector to be able to engage, who is coordinating what and who is supervising who. So these are the little things the government have to be able to do. Then the private sector step in, or individuals who have their resources and they think they have the capacity to deliver, steps in. They also want to do whatever they want to do. If it is the solid waste they want to cut, they have to cut. Is it in their contract that they have to provide a site where the dumping is done? If that is for the government, it means the government has to make the site ready for them to dump anytime they want to dump. After dumping, whose responsibility it is to manage the dump site, because you don't dump. Interestingly, we have about 4 or 5 what we call an engineered site throughout the country. Apart from that, if you go to the relatively bigger towns like Takwa, Techiman, all those places, they don't have what you call as an engineered site, where the facility is sent, where it is treated, where it is managed, even if you don't have the recycling plant. We don't have. So all these relatively big towns are dumping.
But we do have recycling plants.
Yeah, we have 1 or 2 in the system. What is their capacity? Around Accra, what is their capacity to take? If Accra is generating 1,200, 1,500 tons a day, what is the capacity of these 2 plants?
For example, the one operated, the Accra compost plant, has a capacity of 600 tons.
600 tons.
And then there's also a new one that has just been inaugurated by IRECOP, a subsidiary of Zoomlion, and also has a capacity to do the same, and even double of that expectedly.
So what is he doing now? Is he able to take? Because it's not an issue of recycling. We generate, somebody pick, it is transported there. It's a whole chain before it comes to the recycling plant. And even the way we generate, we mix everything, the polythenes, the organics, everything is mixed. It means before it has to be sorted out there. So the chain itself, we don't need to break the chain. So right from the household or the offices, where markets, where these things are generated, that is where we have most of the challenges, because we bring everything together. Then it becomes challenge for those at the sorting point to take their time, the machines, everything to go through, to sort them out before the recycling proper can take place. These are the issues that we have to look at.
That saying, I remember just about 3 weeks ago, we had one of the markets right here in Accra, the Slaha market. And they seem to be doing something that is a bit unconventional by making sure that the market is kept clean and it's swept, and also the waste that is collected is properly disposed of. What role then are individuals, collectively as family, as households, expected to play in all this?
You see, that is why I always like the Ghanaian. Because every morning, our mothers, our sisters, and some of our brothers, we sweep our houses. We clean our rooms every day. Those who live in compound houses, they clean, they do all these things. But just after their doorstep,
that's where the problem is.
That's where the problem is.
Which is what?
Where to deposit these things.
Is it not a behavior matter? A subject of
yes,
a poor behavioral
Yes, it's not
action.
everybody who want to clean, who want to distill the gutter in front of his or her house, of a house or store or office. But those who also do. Just I was coming through Teshi. People have distilted their gutters, but you see the waste dumped at the gutter side.
But who is supposed to?
Yes. What is the link there?
Okay.
What is the whose responsibility?
Now we have this showing on the screen. Yes, we want to clean the household. That's good behavior. Yes. But the good behavior seems to stop at the gate.
That's what I'm trying to say. It stops.
You are saying that it has to continue beyond the gate. It has to
continue. So if we think, or is the responsibility of any of the collecting the private sector?
Yeah, but this one is not a responsibility. If you collect your waste, you are supposed to heap it, and then you properly bag it. Is that not the situation?
You properly bag it with what? When you bag it, where are you sending it? You see, our change should be such that.
Are you saying because there's no avenue, or they think it's so bleak for them to bag it and not have anywhere to send it?
Not necessarily. Okay. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Some of them actually know that if I put this here, somebody has to come and collect. But also
they won't put it there in the first place. That's
they won't put it there in the first place.
That's what you're saying.
So, yes. So you think your house is clean. Yeah, when you get outside the house, you deposit the thing in the gutter. That is where the challenge comes from. So you think you have a good behavior in your house, within your house, yet you step outside your walls and your behavior totally change. And the idea in our mind is that we think it's someone's responsibility to distill the gutter, to collect it on the street. So for me, if I'm putting it there, I'm thinking somebody should come from somewhere to pick. After all, that person is paid to do that job, which shouldn't be the case. It means the education should go on. The other side is also the collecting mechanism.
We'll come to that, but let's focus on still on the education. In what form should the education be undertaken? Who has the responsibility to do that? Because on one hand, we do know that the ordinary Ghanaian has a certain poor behavioral culture towards waste disposal. The way we gather the waste itself, and then we try to dispose it of. And I believe that you've started with some sort of explanation in that regard.
Yes. It's a culture that we have developed over the period. But the point I started with is that nobody tells us to clean our house. It means it has been embedded in us. We've been trained that way. Nobody does that. And one of the reasons that has caused that, initially we used to have this environmental health, we used to call Sama, who goes around and make sure that the household is clean. when we're very small boys. They'll come around, and if your environment is not clean, your parents will be running away from you. So it started that way. But when those things went down, then people felt, okay, cleaning my house is okay, but just after my door, someone should come and do it for it. So it's the responsibility first of the individual. Our individual self we have to change, whether education will come or education will not come. Because if you find it useful to clean your environment, clean your room, clean your kitchen, and clean your bathroom, clean your compound, why don't you leave those dirt in your environment? You think it's not correct. It's wrong to do that. That's why we have cleaned. Why then do you have to go outside and dump it into your gutter or into your street? For who to come and clean? So we have to emphasize that aspect, that we have to continue the attitude when we leave our house. That is why people sit in their cars and they throw away because they think the attitude is only in the house, but not outside the house. And for such people, we have to continue deepening the education. Yet at times, the education, yes, you do for how long? But you also see that a behavior that has been inculcated for a very long time is difficult to change within a day. So we still have to continue. But where persuasion and other things have failed, that is where the force should be applied. And that is where the enforcement of our relevant laws comes in. So whilst we are doing the education and massaging and ensuring that the people understand and the attitude and behaviors are being changed, there are a number of people also out there, no matter what you do, they may not want to change their behaviors. For such people, then you have to apply the appropriate sanctions.
Which will be the use of the sanitation courts. Or any other
laws and all those things that we have.
Okay.
The assemblies have their bylaws that they can work on it. So if the laws are not being followed, if the simple things that we have to do to make sure our environments are clean, we are not doing it, then we have to apply the necessary enforcement regime.
Now, there's a latest sanitation report, market reports, Waste and Circular Economy Ghana, that has been undertaken by Dutch agency for 2019, and it's indicating that organic waste generated in Ghana forms about 61% of waste that is generated. What is the organic waste?
Organic waste are the things that can easily get rotten. So from our food that we eat, I mean, those papers that can easily just rainfall on it and it can. So these are the things, the foodstuffs and those things that we cook, and within 1 or 2 days, it gets spoiled, so degenerates. So these are the things that we're talking about, the organic waste. It takes a very short time for it to decompose. And if that is the situation, then it's even good for us. It's good for us, it's good for our companies, it's good for recycling, because it doesn't take much time. And some of these things, we don't even need a bigger system. Bigger system is very relevant. But in our homes, after cooking, the leftover, if you have a space at your back, you dig. You dig and put them in a pit. You cover it. You throw it back into your garden. When it degenerates, it fertilizes the land for you. So some of this little...
Not in Accra, which is largely paved.
But also we also have houses. I mean, where I live, we have grass behind our houses.
No, but I'm saying that not largely in sections of Accra. That is...
Yes, that's also the challenge. When we are talking of sanitation, we think Accra is only... Ghana is Accra, and Accra is Ghana. We have other locations outside Accra. We have the district capitals, we have the area council, the bigger, relatively larger towns outside Accra are all part of the system. But because we live and sit in Accra, we think Accra is Ghana and Ghana is Accra. So anything, everything waste, Accra is what we are looking up to. But now the waste issue has gone beyond Accra to our smaller communities. If you go to the villages and you see the number of polythene bags in our villages, You wonder what happens in this village, whether the polythene bags are even produced in these villages. So it goes beyond, the issues we are discussing goes beyond Accra. Of course, Accra is our capital. We want it to be clean. All the visitors, all the big people will come here. But the issue is actually more than what we see in Accra.
Now let's get on to the phone lines and get a conversation going too, because partnering with JoyNews for the Joy Clean Ghana campaign is the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. We have its PRO, Gilbert Ankra, on the line. Good morning to you, Mr. Ankra. But from the perspective of the A.M.A, what are the current statistics? How much is generated in the capital or in your supervisory area? And ultimately, how much is collected and disposed of?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and then a good morning to your cherished listeners and viewers as well. Currently, within the Greater Accra metropolitan area, it is estimated that we generate about 3,000 tons of waste. And for that matter, the amount of waste we are able to collect, the amount of waste we are able to send to the landfill sites and all that is a bit of an issue. If you look at the number that we generate, there is a backlog of about 500. And for that matter, these are some of the waste we see dotted around. But it's important for us to note that the Assembly currently, as I speak to you, sometime some few weeks ago, about two weeks ago, we began an exercise with the University of Ghana to look at the categorization of the waste that we generate within the Greater Accra metropolitan area. So we have distributed some bins to specific locations where we are gathering the data to look at the exact volume of waste we generate, the composition of the waste. Currently, the composition, majority of the composition is organic, and just as your other speaker said, it's important for us to look at the ways of reusing our waste, recycling the waste, and then reducing the waste that we generate. So if you look at the Assembly currently, we have begun some waste segregation programs, and we piloted it within the Osuklote basic schools within Osuklote. We've currently scaled it up to all secondary schools within the A.M.A's jurisdiction. We've also given out some bins to specific households where we are piloting the waste segregation in that very sector, because we believe it will go a long way to help us segregate the waste, and then that would inform the decision as to recycling the plastic space and all that. So currently, that is the situation.
Oh, just be on the line for me. Ms. Arthur, we're now trying to recategorize waste. Aren't we too late in the day? Or we just want to get the statistics right?
I think we are late in the day. For me, we have this information there.
The estimates are there, you say.
Estimates are there.
There's no point to reinventing the wheel.
I mean, several studies have been done. Yes, you are now dealing with the University of Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah University have done a lot of work. There are people who have done a lot of work in this area. So it's a matter of getting in touch with what is there. Let's look at what is there and let's start from there, than to go and do things that have been done already. Yes, you want to update. If you want to update, fine. But we have to start from somewhere. Use what is available and start with. Other than that, we'll continue every year pilot. And Ghana, when we start piloting, we don't know when piloting ends and the actual the program implementation starts. That is my fear. We have some of this information. I mean, we just quoted from a study that has been done.
Already in 2019.
Already in 2019. Can we bring all the studies together and have a look at it, and based on that, design the program we want to implement? Why do we have to go back again and gather the data?
Okay. Mr. Ankra, how important or crucial is behavioral change in being the beginning point of at least trying to first resolve all the conundrums, all the difficulties we have in waste generation in the first place?
Thank you very much. If you look at issues of behavioral change, it plays an important role because issues of sanitation is a shared responsibility. And in as much as the city authority will put in measures to deal with the situation, as residents, we also have a responsibility to play. Let me touch briefly on the Assembly's sanitation 2017 sanitation bylaw. And it states very clear that some of the offenses in the bylaw includes failure to provide a standard container for refuse storage, receiving services from unauthorized persons or contractors, failure to pay prescribed amount of fee, discharging effluent into open drains and all that, defecating openly, indiscriminate dumping of solid waste, and then even keeping overgrown weeds within your premises. These are responsibilities as a people we must take up and then ensure that we complement whatever efforts the assemblies are putting in to deal with the sanitation situation. And for me, I believe it is very, very crucial. Our president has even made some pronouncements in that direction. And as a people, if you look at most of the work that we're doing, especially with the assembly began some enforcement exercise with multimedia sometime last week. And on the field, we were able to arrest one person who was actually dumping into the drain. And these are some of the things that we are talking about. In as much as what has the assemblies done? We've gone in to desilt the drain. And every year we do this. But for us as a people, because we don't change our attitude, because we feel these things are normal and people will come in and then deal with it, we act irresponsibly. And this goes a long way to complement efforts to ensure that we have a clean city. And let me once again use your medium to re-echo that the program or the enforcement drive between the assembly and then multimedia, we are leaving no stone unturned this time around. This time around, we are coming in with the cameras. And if you are caught, I can assure you that the law will deal with you. Because if we don't change our behavior, change our attitude, we will still be confronted with some of these issues.
Now, Ms. Arthur, if you take a look at that 2017 bylaws, sanitation bylaws that he's talking about, it looks like the chunk of its implementation by way of the regulation lies with an enforcement authority. And that enforcement authority should be the assembly. Okay. What will be your own assessment, whether the assembly then has been forthcoming with its own responsibilities?
Of course, we acknowledge the fact that there are challenges. And in as much as there are challenges, the assembly is doing whatever we can.
Wait with you. I want Mr. Atta to respond to this first.
Yeah, I think from the way he responded, it means the assembly has not been up to its responsibility. And because, I mean, like Ghana as a whole, we have all the laws. Implementing, enforcing is the challenge. And you see, the way the campaign is good, but the way he's structuring the campaign with the cameras, you see, under their system, they have area councils, zonal councils, unit committees. These are community-based structures. They live in the suburbs. These are part of the assembly system. Why can't we use these established structures rather than going with the cameras? Environmental health staff, the team, are supposed to be working at the area council, zonal council, working with the unit committees, zonal committees, to be able to stem some of these things in the communities. So if you look at it at the top here, it's just hanging. How does it filter to the ground there? If you have your bylaws at the top there, how does it filter to the ground there? So I think, yes, you have your bylaw, you have
Mr. Anka, just hold on. Let him
you
land.
You go with the camera. Where can you go? How many places can you go with a camera in a day? Yet these structures, environmental health people, are sitting in the area zonal council, unit committees, are in every zones, every ward in the metropolis. What is the strategy for triggering these processes so that those people could be empowered to monitor their own environment? Then you go in occasionally with your camera and other things to ensure that things are working. If you approach it from the top there, it still doesn't get to the ground, and we still have this challenge.
Ms. Ankara, you want to also contribute to this, at least complement what you said?
I just want to say that in as much as we are moving in with the cameras now, that doesn't mean the assembly has been sleeping all over these years. We've undergone some level of enforcement drive, and if you look at the statistics from January to date, over 600 persons have been prosecuted for various sanitation offenses. And in all these prosecutions, we don't go with the cameras following us. No. People have been prosecuted for various sanitation offenses. Some few months ago, that their assembly even zoomed in on some ministries of Justice and Attorney General Ministry for failure to subscribe to the accredited waste management company. And it's important for us to put that on record, that in as much as we have decided to move with the cameras now, that doesn't mean the assembly has not been doing anything with respect to enforcement. We acknowledge the fact that there are challenges, and in as much as there are challenges, the assembly is doing all it can to ensure that we deal with the situation. But cooperation from all is needed for us to get to the level that we want to get, especially in relation to sanitation.
Now, in relation to this whole campaign and the sanitation drive or the enforcement drive, in this whole action or activity with JoyNews and the rest of the multimedia channels, how in tandem are you working with the waste management companies then, because they are on the ground and work with the various zonal councils and sub-metros to ensure that the sanitation actions are well implemented, knowing that they also are on the ground, they get to see what is happening among many other related issues?
I can tell you for a fact that there is close collaboration, and just as you said, specific waste management companies have been assigned to specific areas. And in the enforcement drive that we have begun, we haven't visited any household yet, but there is constant education. We have our vans moving into the various communities to encourage people to register, to encourage people to even know the exact waste management company who is responsible to service your area. So for that, I can tell you for sure that there is close collaboration with that. The Assembly will be launching an electoral area sanitation challenge very soon, and it's all part of what we are doing to ensure that we have a clean city. And with that very program as well, there is close collaboration, because if we don't team up with the relevant waste management company within a locality, it will be quite difficult for them to lift the waste. And that is what the Assembly most of the time keep on saying. And let me use your medium once again to urge everybody, don't give your refuse to unaccredited collectors, because for them, you are not assured that they would dump where the Assembly has allocated for them to dump their refuse. Sometime last year, we registered about 600 of these informal sectors, being the solar taxis. And if you see their vans, we have given them stickers. These are also accredited people, because for them, we are able to monitor where they dump. We are able to even direct them to dump at specific transfer stations we have established within the metropolis.
Well, there's a last point I want to ask you about then. If that is a related issue, where do they dump the waste? Because it looks like the information from the companies that tend to collect the waste and go to the sites seem to be full. And there's this conscious effort to make sure that they say recycling should be the order of the day. How are we pursuing that as well?
Of course. That is why the Assembly partnered the private sector to put up the integrated and recycling compost plant on the motorway road. Before that, there was a transfer station there, and that transfer station, we directed all the tricycles to move and then dump at that very location. And with this new facility there, it is dealing with about 400 tons of the waste we generate within the central business district alone, and it is a plus. Currently, if you look at the work that they're doing, all the tricycles that we have within the system, they all move in and then dump at that very location. We also have another transfer station at Achimota, that's the Zone Park, where they also go and then dump. So, in terms of where to dump, especially with the tricycles, specific locations have been assigned for them to go and do the dumping. Let me also state that we must situate this conversation within the Accra Metropolitan Assembly's jurisdiction. People may even see some tricycles around Medina, and they may be dumping somewhere, and you feel it is within the Accra Metropolitan Assembly's jurisdiction. Let me state that currently our jurisdiction, we are looking at areas around the Okankwe South, areas around Ablekuma South, and then Ashedu Keteke. These are the areas we are currently dealing with. So anything extremely outside our jurisdiction, we may not be able to deal with it. But there is close collaboration between the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and then other municipal assemblies to ensure that we deal with the situation. So let us all support whatever we are doing. As a waste collector, you have been assigned to dump at a specific location. Ensure that you do that for us to have a clean city.
Now, at which point in time should the collaboration be effective? Because even residents still are not having the clue that a jurisdiction has been redemarcated. It's under another assembly, and so collectively we still think it's A.M.A. managing the whole of Accra.
And that is where the A.M. itself is at fault. Because if there has been demarcation, they should be able to identify the citizens within their jurisdiction and educate them that if you step outside this line, it is this entity. It is Krowo, it is Ladadi Kotopon. We are within. In as much as they've not been able to go bring in those education, most people think A.M.A. is the whole of Accra, the city called Accra. So whether it is Medina, whether it is Abokobi.
Because we consider all those places as Accra. In our minds.
In our minds. So it is up to them to let people know this is our boundaries. These are the areas we work with. These are our remit in terms of sanitation we are dealing with. But so that when you are identifying your key stakeholders and collaborating with them, everybody knows where it begins and where it ends. So I think it's for them to be able to do that. Other than that, I'm sure every day they receive reports from Medina and those places about sanitation issues. It means those who are reporting don't even know where they are located. So it calls again for the education and raising awareness about their boundaries and what is happening and what they can report to them. Other people outside their responsibility should be directed as to where they have to go. But interestingly, if you have a situation where in a day, most people come to the central business district, not even from Accra and its environs, but from other cities, other towns in other regions, come for marketing and other purposes, then it becomes difficult to actually define your boundaries, because people are coming to, let's say, the CBD to trade. So who do you consider as your constituent?
Yeah.
Is it the people who are physically located in your jurisdiction, or does it include people who are coming to do the marketing and other stuff in, let's say, the central business district? People come from the regions. All the ministries are concentrated in one place. People converge in those areas. So they have to be careful how they define their area of operation.
Well, it's clearly defined.
Yes.
It's clearly defined.
And what I'm asking, does it include people who come to trade, come from outside your jurisdiction to come and trade?
Who also contribute to,
Who also contribute
to the waste generation?
Yes. So if you want to concentrate more on your on the people in your jurisdiction, you'll be underestimating, and I think that is what we have done in the past. We should be able to bring in.
So it's possible. We claim that we're doing education, but we're not touching the right people,
yes.
because it's become more of a metropolis.
Yes.
The throughput of people is always in real time.
Yes.
And it's not constant.
It's not constant.
So you may be targeting somebody, but that person really has no responsibility to.
The other side is, I think, probably most of the built areas, most of the traditional locations where our communities started. You
like
know, they
what?
don't.
Akotolante,
Yes,
some
they
of those
don't have some of these spaces, some of these gutters, and some of this infrastructure to manage the waste. So for those people, they will need a special attention, special effort. And I think some of these things, you see, we tend to use the formal structures to deal with it. But what about the traditional structures?
As in?
Like last Saturday, the whole of last week, like I always call them my landlords, the people at Teshi, had their celebration.
The Homo.
I know it's not part of A.M.A. To what extent did the Krowo people use the traditional authority in disseminating some of this message? So it's not always the formal structure which should work for us. We should identify some of the informal structure, the traditional authorities, those who have some sort of influence in our communities, to be able to use them.
Mr. Ankra, you use the traditional authorities, don't you?
Of course.
But it looks like their influence on the ground, or perhaps they don't use the powers that they have, as in what the Constitution says that they should be doing.
Let me state that there is some close collaboration between the traditional authorities, especially the Ghana Traditional Authority, and the Assembly when it comes to issues of sanitation. Some few months ago, the Assembly partnered the Traditional Authority to even distribute beans to some communities within the Jamestown area, and it's important for us to put that on record that there is close collaboration. As to the effectiveness of it, or as to how things are moving fast, of course, we acknowledge the fact that there are challenges, but we are also hopeful that with the level of engagement that the Assembly is constantly having with these traditional authorities, we'll be able to get there.
If you say you engage them, is it just on the, because sometimes we speak English, real good English, good for the thesis and the textbooks, but practically on the ground, because I'm thinking, if the traditional person or the traditional chief or the chief in my community lives in my community, is the one who comes to maybe at dawn, makes an announcement, whatever it is that they have to do because they're empowered, and then even summon somebody to his traditional palace. It will be more effective, I'm thinking, or it will also play a complementary, effective role for the Assembly.
Of course, that is in no doubt, and we believe that with that close collaboration and with the efforts of the Traditional Authority, them also taking issues of sanitation up, not only traditional authorities, we're even looking at religious bodies as well. You remember sometime the Church of Pentecost, through some of these engagements, even launched some sanitation cleanup exercise and all that, and it's all in that direction. We are not looking at only traditional authorities as well. Everybody, civil society organization, and I can say that there is some close collaboration with all these bodies to deal with the issue.
All right, thank you very much. And Gilbert Ankra is the PRO for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Please be in the know that now Accra, the bigger Accra, has been divided into various various municipalities and others, where we used to have the sub-metro. Some of them have now been redefined to be on their own by way of the jurisdiction within their local government structure. So let's all know where we are, but also let's all try as much as possible to just by our own volition go through the processes of managing waste as we should. How should we intensify the behavioral change education?
I think what we have been successful is dealing with the issue at the top here, at our level. But at the community level, that is where the emphasis should be. And as he said, if they are using the traditional leaders, you know, the traditional authorities also have their sub-chiefs. So that linkages. And each of these communities, we have, as I said, zonal committee, unit committee. All these people have to be involved. And they could be the watchdog at the community level as part of their role. Because they're supposed to be ensuring communities' development. Therefore, they have to. And so we have to go down. Because the people that we are thinking, the people that we are looking at, reside in our communities. Those of us who transit, yes, we are a problem, but no matter what problem. At the end of the day, all of us get back to our communities. So let's get the issues to the ground and touch people on the ground. And where the persuasion is failing, let's make sure that the law or the enforcement takes place. But we see, we also have an attitude where people are enforcing the laws and there is interference. We have environmental health teams who are, in a way, don't even have the logistics to move around. But most of them try to do what they're supposed to do. They try to prosecute, they try to educate people, they try to make sure people do what they have to do. Then some people will come in, this is my brother, sister's aunt, and therefore you cannot prosecute him or her. If you do that, the environmental health officer is demotivated and therefore doesn't have the willingness or the motivation to move forward with the work. Because if I arrest 2 people for defecating in the open and somebody can intervene and the people will be released, then all the efforts that went through. So
we have a whole complexity of issues.
Yes. So
that are hindrances for us to achieving the right sort of. Yeah.
So if these bottlenecks can be removed and ensure or assure the staff that whatever you do, we are in support of you, provided you do it within the appropriate legal regime, we'll support you. We'll provide you the logistics to be able to do that. Until we put all these little things into place, I think we might be fighting a losing battle.
And my colleague on the beat for the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, since it was launched last week, has been Nancy A.M.A. She visited Aveno and interacted with some residents. We'll bring you that very soon, but also we want the phone lines to be activated. The 0302211611691 or 2 line will be activated, but not right now. After we have this interaction brought to you by Nancy A.M.A.
At the exact spot where we had all the drama last Wednesday. So maybe just let me recap what happened. We got here around some 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and a gentleman was seen dropping rubbish just at the bank of this outdoor drain. He was arrested by the inspector from the A.M.A. office. However, the residents in this area pleaded that he be released. Now, the only bail condition the man had was that the entire community will come up here, take brooms, sweep, take rakes and clear the rubbish. Indeed, when we were leaving, they had cleared the place and started burning the rubbish that we had here. But we are back at Aveno, the same place, and I can see, and also you can also see at the background that the entire place has been swept. We don't know whether people have started dumping refuse here again, but I've been joined by a few of the community members to share their thoughts on how they think this can be done better, and whether they think that the initiative that we've taken as the Joy Sanitation campaign would help in any way. I've been joined by Mr. Oscar, Ajara, and also Henry. But let me start with Ajara, because I remember her very, very well. She was very angry that day, when she was told that she had to see, because she says that it is not her fault. Ajara, Medas, next saying. That didn't know when you are brepan, then that didn't ya.
Dear mamma, nebri and say, Auntie, I had no almost 2 bola guha. Na uka. Nipa does in the bed, Dian, I do what them. Uye bomanche, mimi mi ye bomanye. Hana mi mamida. Mi free mi kromba no mi da asasiaba. Emrebi omushi bola waha. Ana ka eja tomo. Boy no hwe na twe waha se no. Ana mi kofre no 3 o'clock on poponiti. Enti mi no mi si atache nyina sa waha. Ana mi di gu ya di gu eja no mo. Ana bola ni shiwe ya. Enti mi ka che boy no se sakebe ya ka ha no. On di kre no on fa ni na twe de no. Embra ha. Ano si yo. Ampasusu oye no omo aja bola gu ha. Ana mo adani ko ha. Ento no boy no kwapo bobia sun e wo bola we hunti. Ana me ka chenso on jai no. Enti adechi ameko we ho ankra ho. Ana me ko ye. Ankra A.M.A director no. Enti ankra di ni no mama me. Me so me di me de no ma no na ka chense man dia no pa me mfre no. Ampasusu me frɛ no no o ka chense on ma office. Eye kakra me serve fi se ehia me nti ana me frɛ ankra me ka chenso ombra behwe ya ave no na bola na egu ha se no enye no uka obi be ye wo ye gbomanche no ye gbomanye ofru kromba e no di bola ba ampa so me fa bola me fa asase free me krom ba but wo bi krom a ese se unye ne yie na owusu de wo no so ono so oye ne yie me nye gbomanche me frɛ ankra na asema ankra ka cha me se onye ono no hwe ha na pajo no hwe ha asabreman pajo enti mo bisa pajo se de akoso no ho ana edu election ba bejan se yen vote ma ye be vote ama no e se ye gimie ni nti ye be vote ama no e wo mo se aha no enye onu no de bola ba ye aha MP enye onu no de bola ba ye na akufa do ansua bola embegu ho ya na ye tramo boys na omo di ye no onyi obi no be gina ho no nhwe. Yeah.
Let me just translate. So basically, she's saying that, they started dumping the refuse somewhere just very close to me. They raised concerns. In fact, they actually burned somebody's car because they were burning the rubbish and it caught fire on somebody's car. And so she made attempts to reach the A.M.A director, who is called Ankra back then, and he says that he was not in charge and that she should reach the assemblyman. But she is saying that the assemblyman has also not been helping because she's doing her best, but nothing is happening. So in her view, she thinks that if people are dedicated to be stationed here to check that people will stop dumping refuse here, it will help. But me kai so catch me say boys ni bi almost say so me adwuma no in so me jai me say ba ku gina me nchen. Henry, I understand this gentleman here was also tasked by the A.M.A former A.M.A boss, Akovanda Point some time ago to help check this place. But then they all stopped because they said that there's no motivation. Nothing, I don't know, so Jai, I say anything.
I say no, say we are Obi Yao, Avino Obinimu, Obe Yawa, Obe Yao, Umami. Well, and then I just Yajayan, I say, Ebi, I'm member to Mau, Obe Yanu, Miss Mimpli, say Obe Yanu, Eddie in Tokobaba, and the better Ujaya Obi to me. Embe yao and the better say 1 2 ozo we nyansan say de oyenu enye won e bia me say obi baka me say me ye adwuma wo A.M.A obi baka say me ye adwuma wo A.M.A this A.M.A for na beti wo a so de wo ko a respect wo won we are saying just say anyina na bora no to me ba say me sometimes me ko adwuma the break be papa we na mama we e be say asa almost all our match no the ball na begu a na de bia ye shinu beble to me ko do no na odonu so e ba na ko choki wo ase nyele enye na de me say impenifo num so e be me wa omo so omo ya hwi won e de nyina ba fi impenifo ni impenifo bi wo a de onum say de omo ya nu enye o na so obo support nu so no wa blood the blood ewe the enfanu kromi the kromi be ye o se e be ye o enye ye o enu enfanu ya ye ba no sebi ya wa akola no kolula na e be chi akola no ya na ya sometimes ye soli na ye see so say ba say holiday bi wo na ya ni boys no nyina na ya be siesie ya and 1 month ube won na asu ayef ya tumi edo anyina ya the soundboard best sisi yo ube ba ebinim kwa pop to soundboard no ada atuwo and the way nyina be boa am before no say oni de ya obi ya bibia omunchi nu na mislo omu ye some boss be what say who get a pure tabia men fact from no dashem the way on my seg na kan no so be boa.
So basically Henry said
Well, so we have to also get your comment on social media, especially on Facebook. And we'll straight away we'll have to go there. We have Evans Aquamoni from the top to the grassroots. We all need change in behavior. And this is in response to a question whether behavioral change education will be some of the best means by which we all could improve waste generation and subsequently its disposal. If leaders do their homework well by regular emptying of the containers when they're full, making dustbins visible to the people, and educating the people on the need to keep the environment clean and prosecuting the offenders, we, the citizens, should also do what to ensure clean and healthy environment, what is needed. I believe that's what he wanted to submit. Now, moving on, we have Nana Asamwa. We need a good policy for waste. I think we already do have that. The problem in Ghana is not about the policy, it's about their implementation. And I'm submitting a copy of Sustainable Waste Management System to the ministry. Yeah, there we go again. And again, echoing what Mr. Arthur here has been saying. Net Kweku says, when the media decide to sleep on their roads and report on the rubbish churned out every day by politicians, this would be the result. We had a culture of general cleaning on the first Saturday of every month. As soon as power changed hands, we threw it to the dogs and now sit down to complain about poor sanitation. We are paying taxes so the government can use it to do free sanitation, stop disturbing our ears. We also need to change our behavior. Okay, and this one is important. Sawan Dinchi says that when I was young, environmental health inspectors were coming around to inspect our environment. That's very true. The fear of being prosecuted alone made people clean their environment. We should empower and motivate them to work. And also, we should make those that litter around sweep or pick rubbish right there, as has been happening already in some quarters. Now, we want to let you in on the conversation. How is sanitation around you in your community? What role do you think you need to play in all this? So we have 03022116991 or 2. Please make sure that we hear from you. And the lines are already on your screen. Please join us in the conversation. 03022116991 or 2. And it's all part of Joy Clean Ghana campaign. We launched it last week. This week is another week. We'll bring you another exciting visit to a community near you this Wednesday, possibly. And we'll let you in on what the latest is. Nancy A.M.A. Fajradosi is a lead reporter on that team, making sure that we have the best of the issues reported to you and the action that have been taken by the team. We have Mark Asamwa already on the line. Mark, good morning to you.
Good morning, Roland.
Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Shinyani.
Okay. Tell us about your own experiences and what role do you think, not only yourself, but all of us could play in this?
Roland, I think I agree with Mr. Atta. You know, the environmental health officer.
Hello, Mark?
Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead, Mark. You say the
I agree with
environmental...
Mr. Atta. Yeah, you see, the environmental health officer talking about the prosecution. Some MPs. Hello?
Please go ahead, Mark. Can you speak to me directly instead of just listening to the TV?
My listen is even off.
So go ahead. I want you to make your submission. Please make your submission.
I agree with Mr. Atta about the environmental health, the prosecution at the court. You know, sometimes myself, I am an environmental health officer. We go out and work and an MP can come inside and say, no, I am interested in this case. Meanwhile, the person is at fault. We have to prosecute the person. An MP can come in. Two, you see, when we prosecute the people, sometimes they fail to appear to the court. When you go to the assembly, that matter, I have been given a bench warrant to go and arrest this person because of this and that. The assembly will tell you, Master, we don't have fuel. That is what Mr. Pata is saying. You need to empower them. You need to, I mean, they are there. We are here. We are 100% ready to work. But where is the support?
Yeah.
What about the interference of the MPs, the ministers, the politicians? They are also one of the main causes of these sanitation issues we are talking about. Thank you, Roland.
We have Charles Zigan. Charles Zigan is calling us from Dadieso. Charles?
No, it's Cephas.
Okay, please lower the volume on your set and go ahead, Cephas.
I have done so. I am listening to your program, Kelly, and your guest has spoken well about challenges we are facing. I am an environmental health officer here as well. As a prosecutor, as I am, there are a lot of challenges that we're facing. There are times that you get cases, and when you are preparing to maybe in a way prosecute, you see the political leaders coming on board, calling you to the office, making sure that certain people are not prosecuted. And if it happens so, and it will just look like you are trying to be selective in carrying out your duty. And the communities are always on alert. When it happens to a lot of names, they'll give a lot of names. And they always tag us with political colors. How can we prosecute the DC inform you not to prosecute these people, yet we are doing it to these people? So it is one of the problems we are encountering over here. And the logistic aspect too. We don't have anything to work with. So mostly the little salary that we get from our pay is what we use for our rounds, which is also not helping us to carry out most of the rounds that we need to do as an officers.
Do you think that you play a critical role in complementing the enforcement bits in the whole chain?
Exactly, we do. We do. But here like the case, the necessary conditions that will always enforce or help you to implement your official duties are always not there.
Yeah.
They always demotivate you, or always at times they put certain hindrances on your way indirectly. You yourself as an officer, you could see that is a hindrance. But who are you to say something?
Yeah.
It can be transferred.
I get your
point.
point.
So at times when it happens that way, there's nothing you do but rather do to whatever they tell you to do.
I get your point. Thank you very much, Cephas. Okay. Also calling us right now is Rashida Haruna. Good morning to you, Rashida.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. And what are your experiences too in relation to how we can be part of the whole change in behavior in all this discussion about waste generation and its disposal?
Yeah, first I have to blame politicians for this particular.
Well, are you also an environmental health officer?
No, please.
Okay, but you blame the politician. I
blame the politicians because first, when I was young, there was this people who go around checking, and with those that we call sama.
Exactly.
This time, if someone is being arrested for doing the wrong thing, you will see that the politician will come in. I'm interested in that particular case. This, that. They should stop that. Even I remember a day in Tamale Central, someone was inside yellow. After taking banana, he dropped the filter things plus pure water sachets on the road, on the main road.
On the main
middle of the road. Yes, around main taxi round traffic.
Wow.
So someone followed him with a motorbike, asked him to get down and come and take it. Finally, I'm telling you, Roland, it was going to be a war.
Wow.
And looking at that person, in fact, he was asking, do you know me? Do you know who I am? Who are you? Do the right thing, and people will follow you. Don't look at your political stand or saying that my party is in power. No. Politicians have to stop certain things for Ghana to grow. Yeah. We are tired of politics. Politicians should stay out of certain things. Ghana was having its law before politics came in. So we are begging them. If someone is wrong, that person is wrong. You don't need to ask somebody whether you are working for Tamale Metro. I don't know that you started working for Tamale Metro because you have done the wrong thing. Someone is trying to correct you. Roland, and I'm also going to use this your opportunity, your medium, to appeal to our overall. That's Nadiowa. I'll be very happy if they made him.
You're appealing to who?
Nadiowa.
Who is Nadiowa?
That's our king of Dagbon.
Okay.
Because he owned the whole Dagbon. Yeah, he can help us to do the clean up exercise. I remember during Kufuor regime when what's his name? Anta was the mayor of Tamale or DC by then. Tamale was just the best city, if not in Ghana, but in Africa. So why is it that this time you can't even move? Is this there in takeaway bowls? Is this there in rubbers? Why?
Yeah.
And I think even the environmental health people, they are also tired of working.
Yeah.
So please, I'm appealing to our overall, that's the Nigeria, to say something about this thing. It's just killing us.
Right.
Because after eating, if you throw it, remember last 2 or 3 years too, a woman died because of that.
Okay.
When these robbers go, it blocks all the gutters.
Rashida.
Water cannot go.
Rashida,
and sometimes,
Rashida,
yes, please.
Your point has been made. Decibel.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much, Ola.
I was greeting you, Decibel.
Nah, Tomasum.
What should I say in response?
Nah.
Okay. What should I say again? Nah.
Gomjani.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Rashida, I've enjoyed the conversation with you. It's been good as well. And Rashida will be our last caller. But it looks like the citizens, we have many other related people who seem to have a perception about how they need to behave. And they feel that if the law is enforced, then we'll get there, right?
Yes. As I said, all of us have understanding of what we have to do. After all, when we wake up from our homes, we clean. So the initial understanding is there. But this attitude that we've gotten here, it should be someone's responsibility. That is what we have to look at in the chain. Because I think someone has been paid to clean my gutter. And therefore, if I dump, I don't care whatever is going to happen. That is where we have to look at those linkages.
Let me ask you this. If, let's say, we undertook a massive campaign of littering the city of environmental officers and making sure that the people who are caught are punished, etc., would we achieve something, let's say, in 6 months?
Yes, we will achieve something. We will achieve something. And as they were telling with their experiences, if you go to the Sound District, they don't even have a bicycle.
Yeah.
They don't even have a bicycle. Recently, there were a backlog of trained people who were sitting at home. I don't know whether they've been absorbed into the system. Yet we need the people to do the service.
So it's all a matter of commitment.
A matter of commitment, ensuring that those who are supposed to play certain responsibilities are playing those things. Then the court systems too. I don't know what most of their bylaws, what they do. Everything shouldn't be money. Like that Venus situation. They ask the people, instead of asking the individual to claim, the people stepped in and said, we'll claim it on his behalf or on her behalf. And they did. If people are arrested and part of the prosecution is to claim.
It's not only about money.
It's
You're
not
saying
about
that
money.
some community services would also help.
Community services.
Yeah.
So people are supervising you every day from this place.
And people are watching you.
And people are watching you.
And they won't want to be there.
Let's start.
Yeah. It's the commitment. I agree with you.
It's the commitment. Some of this commitment is actually not monetary. You see, at times we see some of these things that we need some money sitting down to do ABCD. Because if you are the head, the word that you say to people, some of this environmental health, they are not giving extra money. They use their own pocket money to move around. So the money go to a certain extent, because there are some people too, you give them the money will pass somewhere. You see, so the commitment from all angles is very important, especially for our leaders. Let's demonstrate that this thing can be done, and let's support those who are doing it to do it.
Well, thank you very much. Ben Arthur. Ben Arthur is a former president of the coalition of...
Executive Secretary.
Okay. A former executive secretary, the coalition of NGOs on water and sanitation, CONIWAS, as they're called.